YouTube, what is good? Still do not have my car back because I'm dealing with that tire issue. They should be replaced hopefully tomorrow or the next day. Tonight, we are doing a photography behind the scenes. We're gonna do some night photography. It has been a hot minute since I did any night photography because it is summer and it gets dark so late, but it's definitely my favorite type of photography. Before we get going though, we gotta make a interesting stop. How dirty is this windshield? My goodness. See that right there? That is the liquor store. There's a real good reason why we're going there. Like an extremely good reason. I promise I'm not becoming like a degenerate. There's a really good reason. So this is a sentence I never thought I would say out loud, but I'm gonna have to call around to some other liquor stores because they did not have what I wanted. That's so ridiculous to say. Let me explain. So anytime I film in my office, in the bottom left corner typically of the video, you're gonna see this small square print on wood. It's like a geographic pattern. That is by an artist named Philippe Pantone, one of the most amazing artists on the planet Earth, in my opinion. He is my favorite artist. All right, getting to the point. Hennessy does these collaboration bottles with artists. I think they've done one with Cause. I know they did one with Futura. They've done them with other artists. Philippe Pantone is the most recent artist to be featured on one of these bottles. And you see, his work is still kind of available. The last time he did a print release, I didn't convert the time right. It was in like England GMT time. I didn't know what that was. I converted to American time and I was an hour off, so I missed it. I was very upset because those $150 prints are now on eBay for $1,000. I'm still considering buying one of those. But basically by buying the collaboration bottle, you're getting a piece of the artist's artwork, but it's not a print and it's not an original. It's kind of like this weird gray area collectible item, and I gotta have them. So while I wait for it to get dark, I'm gonna figure this out. Tonight we're gonna be shooting on the LEICA Q. This is really the first time I've used the Q for any night photography, any long exposure photography. I don't know what I wanna shoot. Kind of part of me is just leaning towards like mindless Instagram bangers tonight. I think it'd be fun. If this is your first video, here's how it works. I put a GoPro on the top of my camera, I go out to make photos, and I explain the entire process, the good photos, the bad photos, what I like, what I'm looking for, what I dislike, everything all about that. So in about 25 minutes when it gets dark, we'll be able to get to it. Real quick before we get going and jump into the behind the scenes, I want to thank our sponsor today, Skillshare. Once again, thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes in design, business, technology, and more. Doesn't matter what you're trying to learn, Skillshare is the place to improve your knowledge regardless of the topic. Premium memberships give you unlimited access to high quality classes from experts in their field so you can improve your skills and unlock new opportunities. One class that had my interest years ago was by a photographer named Trash Hand. The class is titled Street Photography, Capture the Life of Your City. I have a feeling if you clicked on this video, you're probably interested in something like this. This class incorporates so many different elements of city and street photography. There's something for everyone in here. And the teacher of this class, Trash Hand, is responsible for a lot of the trends you see on Instagram and the internet today when it comes to photography. So Skillshare is hooking up anyone who goes to the link in the description on this video. You get 2 months of Skillshare for free. That's the best price in the world. You can take this class, you can check out any other class on the site completely for free. So thank you Skillshare so much for sponsoring today's video. Go to the link in the description on this video to get 2 months for free from Skillshare. Now let's get to this behind the scenes. So we're getting started today at a location that I've tried to photograph many times in the past. It's a big challenge for me. It's the Fox Theater in Atlanta. There's these interesting lights. There's always people coming in and out of the theater, but I've always struggled with a composition here. So I figure it's a good place to start, get the creative juices flowing. Our first photo on the night, not good. That is not good. That's called the wrong settings. So get my camera set to the proper settings, moving around a little bit more. Notice all these people walking towards this crosswalk, think something could happen. Frame up this like detour sign right here with some people. Once again, not good. But y'all know what I always say when it comes to making photos, you just got to get those creative juices flowing. Just shoot. You're going to make a lot of bad photos to get those few good photos. So right here, I'm just trying to figure out what to do. Like I said, this is a very challenging location for me, and spoiler alert, I don't figure it out tonight either. But notice this puddle right here where some cars going by. I think it might be cool to get kind of like a city feeling image. Once again, not good. So bail on that. Like I've said twice already in this video, that's a challenging location. I can't figure it out. So as I'm passing this MARTA station, I turn back around and notice I always like these scenes where you have really bright lights surrounded by darkness. So right here, I turn my lens to the wrong aperture, so I move it closer to like f5.6. I'm trying to get a sharp image here. This is decent, you know, it's still not my favorite, but we're kind of getting on the right track with that image. I do like the lighting there. So I start moving my way down the street. This is a location on the left that we've done some photos at before. Decide to not try anything tonight because there's nobody really moving over there. There's nothing really happening. So right here, I'm waiting at this crosswalk, and I notice these neon signs down the street, and I think something cool could happen here. So I try to frame up this shot where I utilize this, what do you call that? Like sign, I guess, to add some framing into our photo with those neon signs. Not good. That photo's not properly exposed, but for the sake of the video, I want you to see the not as good images. So right here, I'm trying to incorporate something with these neon signs still, and can't really figure it out, but that sort of sets the tone and the vibe for these next few images. Right here, we walk past the Varsity, make this photo, which I really like. It has a nostalgic feel, it has symmetry, it has lead lines, it has emptiness. I don't know, this one, it works. I like the colors a lot. This is a good one for me. So from there, I go ahead and recompose the shot to a composition I like even more. Notice how we have the red lines on the wall, we have the yellow cones, and then we have this ketchup and mustard. This is that epitome of a diner feel. It almost has, I've talked about this artist before, I can never remember their name. I really like the vibe of this. It almost feels like a painting. It's very minimal, but not at the same time. Good composition, good colors. This one works as well. It gives me a feeling. I can't really tell you what it is, but I like it. So right here, notice this neon sign, and like I said, we're just shooting. Anything I see that's interesting, we make the photo. And this looks cool. Really like the colors. The LEICA QP does fantastic job with the colors. The colors there are exactly what you would expect. Exceptional. So moving on, I notice this other neon sign. I know this is here, but I really like the red with the blue backdrop of the sky. Notice how the sky is just faintly lit, just a little bit of blue, and then we have this obviously red rich color. This one works as well. It once again has this American, I don't know, film sort of old nostalgic feeling to it. Really like it, and that becomes the theme for the night. You see, this is a place that I've known about for a long time. Everyone in Atlanta knows about the Varsity. I've made photos here before, but tonight everything's working for some reason. So this photo right here lets me know this is going to be one that we can work with. The exposure's right, the lighting's right, everything looks good. This photo right here isn't the one, but I can just tell there's something to be made here. So I start moving around, and I'm trying to go to a different vantage point to try to capture the entire scene as one. So what I do is I use this ledge as a tripod, set my camera to a lower ISO of 100 to try to eliminate noise. This photo is cool. We did get the whole scene, but I don't know. I don't think we need to capture the entire scene. As much as I, like this, it didn't feel like the best photo I could make on the night, and I'm sure you agree. There's just something off. It's probably the lens I'm using because the QP has a fixed lens. 28mm probably wasn't right for this. Maybe something more in the 40 range, maybe even 35mm would have been okay, but there's just too much space here from the vantage point we're at. I might have been able to make it work if I had a tripod and could have got a little bit closer, but we don't. We're making it work with what's going on. So I start making my way down because I realize I do need to get closer to really capture this scene the way that I want to. And I start with the basic lead line exposure, but you see that red truck right there? That red truck is so critical to the photo that we are about to make. You see, I've been to this location plenty of times. Like I said, I know it's here. I've tried to make photos here before, but there's never been this red truck. So I end up going back to where I made the first photo because I was worried about my settings. My speed was like 1/80th of a second. Redo it and get this shot right here. This has it. Everything we've made tonight has led us to this photo. You see, I was talking about those nostalgic feelings, those American feelings. This has all of that just wrapped into one. It's perfect. The composition locked in because of this red truck. You see, typically in photos where your composition is sort of open like this, you want to look for triangles, or at least that's what I like to look for. So here, because of this red truck, we now create a triangle with the other two interesting points of the photo. We have the awning that's lit up. That's obviously pretty interesting and cool with the fluorescent light casting down this ominous light, and then we have the dark sky and the dark parking lot. That is always a good element for a photo if you can have this ominous light. But then we have the Varsity sign glowing over there on the right side of the photo. These two things by themselves, they're cool, but they're not enough for an interesting photo. With this red truck, you now create a triangle between all three of these points of interest, and it just works. That is what you want to look for in an open composition like this. It's something that ties it all together, and in this case, this red truck does it. Love, love, love that picture. Honestly, might be maybe not my favorite photo of the year, but maybe in my top 5 or 6, I think. So I start walking down this bridge. Notice this city scene right here. A lot of people shoot from the other side, and I tried something with sort of a long exposure. My speed was, I think, at like 1/20th of a second, 1/10th of a second. This doesn't look great, but it does kind of look cool. I feel like I'm onto something here, so I decide to try something different where I put my camera down on the ledge behind me so I can get a little bit of stability, see these cars moving through, and then I notice this runner right here, and we get super lucky with these brake lights. So we have this red cast on the runner, and then the runner is blurry. Loving this one. This is a little unconventional. It's not like a clean photo or anything like that, but once again, kind of has a feeling to it. And because it has this red color cast coming off of the brake light, it does match up with some of the previous photos we've done, and the style of it all ties together. Really like this one too. It's, you know, a little more artsy. I put a little more of an artsy vibe to this, but I definitely like it a lot. So now I start walking down the street towards Georgia Tech University. This photo that we're going to, this is the location I had in mind for the whole night. I figured, all right, we'll go here. We'll get that Instagram banger type photo that I was talking about. We're going to do a long exposure with the road and the Bank of America building off in the distance. And this is my least favorite photo on the day aside from those real duds we had earlier. It's a clean black and white for sure, but it's just not super dynamic. It's not interesting. It doesn't really make you feel anything other than, oh, cool, that's a long exposure photo. So once again, we use that ledge as a tripod. I think my speed on this one was 20 seconds long, so my ISO was very low. Brought my aperture up to maybe f10, something like that, so we could get that longer speed. It's cool. I made it black and white because the colors weren't great, because you have, you know, like a bunch of different mixtures of street lights. But with that, I'm done for the night. I start walking back to the car looking for anything else. Tonight was a great example of that expression. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. We went out, headed to one location, and that location ended up being not good, but everything else we made along the way were photos that I really like and found interesting. So remember that when you go out to shoot, maybe don't drive straight to your location, maybe walk a few extra blocks, walk a different way to the location you have in mind, and who knows what could happen. You could find something interesting, unexpected, like I did tonight. So it is now 2 days later. Yo, everything is working out great. We had such a success on this night of photography, and your boy managed to find the Philippe Pantone special edition box. Look at that. So excited to add this to the collection of art. Yeah, I had to grab 2 of those. And on top of that, this morning I had my first 5K since I was in high school. It's been a long time. I ran a 22:30, which is not as fast as I was hoping for, but it's a 7:15 average mile, and I feel very good about that. A lot more work on the running coming, but let's talk about these photos. So my favorite image on the night just has this nostalgic nighttime still life feeling to it. It is so good. I couldn't wait until this video came out to share it on my social media, so it's already on my Instagram at @EvanRanft. It is this photo right here. Just everything came together on this, the composition, the colors, the feeling. That red truck makes the photo. Without that red truck, it doesn't work. I've been here plenty of times and I know it's here, and it just happened to be one of those nights where the right set of circumstances happened and the right thing finished that photo off. I'm giving that a 4.2 out of 5. That might be the highest score I've given a photo on this channel possibly ever. But some other images that I like also revolve around that restaurant. We have the photo of the sign with the sunset behind it, just like the slightest bit of blue. Really like that photo. Really like the photos through the window. Those came out great. They have sort of like a nostalgic feeling as well. It was one of those nights everything came together, and I love the photos that I made. And it's funny because none of that was planned. My plan was to get like Instagram banger photos. Like I said, I was trying to do long exposures. I thought the last location that we went to was gonna be the best location of the day. It turned out to not be good. It was like the worst location of the entire day, and everything along the way turned out to be the best. I do really like that photo too of the runner on the bridge. That bridge perspective, a lot of people shoot through the fence, which I've done before, and I wanted to try something different, and the brake lights like casting a light on the person running with the city, that one worked, especially if you pair it up with maybe one of the other photos from the location down the street. It was a phenomenal night of photography. Hopefully you learned something in this video. Hopefully you can take what I did in this video, apply it to your own stuff. You can get some inspiration from it, whatever the case may be. If you enjoyed it, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe for more, and share the video with anyone who you think would be interested in it. I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Y'all are the truth, and I will catch you next time.